Well, about a week and a half ago, I guess, someone asked me to cover my PS2 collection as a whole. And while I don't really have the equipment to shoot a good video using a camera and stuff, and my webcam at this point is way too dark to really show off the disc any because of the lighting. I figured, well, I can just grab footage from the start of these games and show that instead. So yes, this is one of my many games, 007 Agent Under Fire. Besides being a 007 game, I can't tell you much about it because I've never played it. I do know this game in particular came from Blockbuster and was sold to GameStop before I bought it. That's about all I can tell you about the disc itself. And this is yet another entry in my collection, another 007 game. You can't tell by the silhouettes, though I have to admit it's a bit disappointing after the opening setup of the first one, but yes, this is 007. Everything or nothing. Well, this is the last of my 007 games, Nightfire, which I'm going to assume is based on a movie I've never watched and is yet another shooting game, because that's usually what James Bond does. He shoots lots of people and uses funny gadgets that are strangely effective because they're top secret weapons in disguise. Ah, the classic opening scene though. Well, the bullet thing there. Don't tell me it just jumped right into the game though, because that'd be annoying. That's what the last one does. No, these clips look a bit too random. This is actually footage from the game over various parts. There's a flying car. Or is that an underwater car? Whatever. Well, this is 13. I don't know much about it beyond the fact it's rated M, and I'm guessing it's another shooting game based on the cover alone. Well, disc cover, because I don't have an actual box. Like many games, I only own this one from a sleeve. And it doesn't look like there's even much of a title screen on this one. It just says press start to begin. That's never a good sign. Next we have one of the first of the many dot hack games I own. Though, I have to wonder if the... Oh, there it goes. For a second there I thought the Hop Hog got desynced with the capture card. Well, I'm sorry, the program on my computer, because sometimes that happens. I have to restart it. But yes, this is dot hack infection. You have new mail. I honestly would like to play this series somewhat because I figure putting it on a Let's Play would make me a bit more likely to finish it, because the dot hack quadrilogy is pretty long and it can get a bit tedious with the combat system. But I've actually beaten this first game about 4 times now. I've never finished the last game. I've beaten 2 and 3 at least once. No, if there's one thing I'll give the dot hack games, they definitely have some rather beautiful music. It's just too bad the combat system's so tedious, and by this one you start to feel the wear and tear from it, because your characters never realize that their attacks don't work. It gets even worse when you get further up, and the convert option down there is for converting save data from the last game so you can keep all your stuff. You can start a new game, they'll just give you some starting items, but usually you're going to want to carry your save files over, because, you know, if you're going to do this, you might as well play all of them, right? So you can continue your save and keep all the items and stuff you hand out to everyone, so you can take advantage of as many situations as possible. Now, this is obviously dot hack Outbreak, and this is probably where the story gets its darkest when it comes to the ending, because this is the 3rd part, and the last part is going to be the 4th and final part, but you realize by the time you get here, you're even more worn out by the combat system. The AI doesn't know how to realize that it's fighting physically resistant enemies or magically resistant enemies. It doesn't know it needs to switch attack styles when that happens. You have to constantly go in, micromanage, telling them what attacks to use, sometimes telling them which equipment they should switch out to, and it gets to become just as even more tedious than it was in the last game, because you're like, can't this AI get any smarter over the course of these games? And it just doesn't. Though I have to admit, I still like the opening music, and you know, just despite the fact they're very, very orange. Yes, I think that's from like the end of the first game when he sees Cubia for the first time. Ah, different tune though. Oh yeah. I'm not sure all that's going on there. Some of this seems like it's from various parts. Lots from episodes from part 1, some from part 2, I think. What's that supposed to be, a scream? Ah, yes, we've joined in friendship now, despite the fact I've tried to kill you. Well, that's Outbreak, I guess, in a nutshell, somewhat. And this is obviously the final entry in the original .hack quadrilogy, sorry. Not quadrilogy. That wouldn't even make sense. It'd be 4 and 3. But yeah, this is where I guess all the mysteries and everything come to a close, and you save the world from a computer virus that would have shut down all the world's computers. But by the time I get to this point, I just can't handle the micromanaging on the combat, usually. It got to me. It's like, it's just too much. I love how those lines are from the first game near the beginning. I haven't seen that before yet, though. So that's probably from this game, actually. Though I think I've read about it before. But yes. This is the one .hack game I've never finished. Quarantine. I got started on it, then quit. One of these days I'll beat it after beating all the other 3 all over again. After about another 90-some hours getting dumped into them. Maybe. We'll see. Part of continuation of .hack Sign, I believe. It is sort of interesting how the .hack games actually are continuations of the original source material, rather than separate from it, from what I understand. Which makes it very interesting, I guess, overall as a series, because you basically have to look at everything to know the full story of the canon, which is somewhat odd. Usually it's an adaptation of the work more than anything, right? But yes, this is .hack GU Rebirth. I'm guessing it's called Rebirth considering your character goes from being a badass in the opening to being pretty much a level 1 nobody all over again, with everyone still wanting to kill him because he was a very famous player killer. A player killer that hunted down other player killers. Honestly, I don't know much about .hack roots. The GU storyline basically follows all the same bosses and a lot of the main characters are actually brought over from the first game all over again. They just have new names and different characters, which is sort of odd and interesting at the same time, I guess. That's all I have to say about .hack GU Rebirth. Besides, I guess I can save that for the next part. Well, Reminisce continues the story of Rebirth. Albeit, this is probably where things will probably get near their bleakest, because again, the third game is the end of it. Though I guess this game does utilize more footage from the actual games themselves than the previous one. Though my memory might be getting a bit sloppy, it's been a while since I played this. Though I guess the point I wanted to continue off of from when I was talking about the first game a little bit is that the .hack GU series of games basically revamped the combat system a bit. While it was still real time, you know, it either made the AI a bit smarter or got rid of the enemies that were resistant to different types of attacks a lot more often. So there really wasn't much of a need, to constantly micromanage your party and their equipment as much. Albeit you still have to get them better equipment because they can't pick up any on their own, which is somewhat annoying, but somewhat expected too. I mean, this is an RPG, so you have to equip everyone, not just the main character. And thankfully there isn't too huge of a cast of characters in most of these games. Albeit much like the original series, you do lose a character, I believe, at the end of this game that you can't get back until basically the end of the next game. Which always drives me nuts, because I hate losing a character, you know, even if it's only temporarily. But yes, that's about all I can really say about this. But I suppose there is a continuation of some very great music for this series as well. But yes, this is .hack GU Reminisce. Show the title. Yep. Volume 2. Reminisce. I don't know what you're reminiscing about, besides how much better you were in the past, maybe, I don't know. Or how much things have gotten worse since your involvement in things. I'm not sure which. Or maybe you're reminiscing about the first game and how much weaker you were. Again, not sure. Well, at least the great music trend continues. Though, I guess maybe the titles are a bit more obvious than I thought. I mean, Rebirth's about Haseo losing all his strength and going back to being level 1. Then Reminisce might be him reflecting on how a horrible person he'd become in his quest for vengeance. while Redemption's about the redemption of Hiseo and his former comrade Ovan, who's been taken over basically by a virus, and himself from the horrible person he became, maybe. Perhaps that's what they mean with the titles. And yes, you can get married in this game. And yes, you can get gay married too if you want. I wouldn't really want to, but you can do it. Ah yes, the ultimate form of Skaith after he's absorbed all the other figures. And you get guns in this game. Because that's what every hero needs, right? He needs little firearms in an RPG with scythes and swords and stuff, right? You need a long-range weapon. Despite the fact everyone else gets close-range weapons unless they're a magic user. Whatever. Doesn't have to make sense. But yes, this is the last game in the .hack GU series, Redemption. And the last game I'll talk about in my collection today, because quite frankly, if I want to cover the A games, I'll have to go upon another 30 titles. And I don't really, well, not 30 titles if I'd done what, probably 20 some titles, and I don't want to do that tonight. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or a couple days from now. I don't know. It depends on how much free time I have and what mood I'm in. Until next time then. See ya.